when you look at the Super Bowl matchup,
Yep.
right? And again, yes, this is not your typical Lions talk. We are just going to talk Super Bowl because it's the biggest game of the year in the football world. So
It
we're
is
going to
what
talk
it
about it.
is. We're all gonna watch it. Whoever's listening here, whoever's gonna listen, what you of course we're watching it. Whether you're gonna watch it for Rihanna at halftime, ladies, or we're gonna watch the game. I mean, we're gonna watch it. We're gonna also hear news. We're gonna, Sean Payton conversations. Just to the I mean, we'll probably the Colts head coaching. A lot of news coming out. So yeah,
It's a
everyone's
lot.
gonna
Yeah.
watch it.
Yeah. So we might as well talk about it a little bit.
Yeah,
In your opinion, who do you think needs the Super Bowl win the most?
Mahomes.
Mahomes needs this more?
Um, Right now, yeah. I mean, I think this is Mahomes in order not to turn into like an Aaron Rodgers. Like he's so talented. It's just
Yeah.
getting to a Super Bowl and winning a Super Bowl. I think those are so hard to do. You see the guys that couldn't get it done, so talented. Dan Marino, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, right? MVP all over, but like he's been to one. He was 1-1, so
Hmm.
like that's it. Like I mean. But anyway, back to the question: who needs it more? I think Mahomes needs to win this one just to kind of like put it to bed. I've won two, and then because Kansas City, they're getting older, right? Let's be honest. I
Yeah.
mean, Kelsey's not that young. I mean, Mahomes he's younger and he can play for a long time, but like these injuries for him, this ankle is consistently a problem in the playoffs, right? He's always got something
Hmm.
kind of lingering. I remember him hobbling around last playoffs, but I think that he's got to get this done. I think that Kansas City's got to get it done. I don't know how much longer Andy Reid's going to be coaching, right? He's getting older. Like what does this team look like? And to that point, I mean, Andy Reid's been there for what, 8 years now?
Sure. Let's say so.
It's
It feels
around
like he's been there forever. I forget that
he's
he's been with the
seven
Eagles, but like, yeah.
7 or 8 years. And think about it. Mahomes' first so this is, I was actually watching, they were doing a deep dive on it, about Andy Reid, and I was trying to compare him to, no comparison, but comparing the timeline with the Lions and Dan Campbell. Because the
Hmm.
Chiefs like had some talent, but they weren't going anywhere fast, and they needed a culture change. A culture
Hmm.
change. A culture change. And so I don't know why that got so
You
high.
had to reach deep down
I,
in your
did, I
sack for that
did,
one.
I did, I did. I gotta get down in it here, right here. But so the like they needed a culture change. Andy Reid came in, and it took him. It was 6 or 7 years before he won the Super Bowl that he was coaching there.
Yeah.
So, which then made sense. Okay, 6-year deal with Dan Campbell and company, right? So so that to me is what I'm kind of expecting then toward the end of these guys, our coaches, our tenures, when we should be there, right? Like one of the teams. So that actually like level set me, because I always think we could do it this year. Like we got more talent, right? Each year, especially John, the Kool-Aid. But that actually,
Hmm.
the way in which they talked about it and showed it, I was really curious to see like how long it took. And it's like, all right, like, okay, pump the brakes a little bit. So yeah, we gotta, But then you have the Giants team, right, with the helmet catch that was like lightning in a bottle, like that came out of nowhere, right? They
Well, and
weren't supposed.
that was gonna be my pushback because like I agree with you that like I think Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs need this way more than Jalen Hurts and the Eagles do.
Yeah,
And it's strictly based around the fact that like the AFC is just more competitive right now.
yeah,
Like
that's a logical,
to
great
your
reason.
to your point, the Chiefs are getting older while you have teams like the Bengals that are still very young. I do feel like Josh Allen's going to figure it out eventually. Like one of these seasons, like they're going to figure it out and they're going to go on a run. They're also young. Um, yes, potentially if Aaron Rodgers decides to go to Oakland, like that's another team you have to contend with. The Chargers are young. There's a lot of teams in the AFC that are like up and coming. I still think Lamar Jackson's going to get paid, and I think they're going to finally build the team around him the right way. That's another
I
young
hope
team that
so
you're going to
for
have to deal
him.
with. Right. So there's a lot of obstacles in the AFC where it's like, hey, if Patrick doesn't start capitalizing on these, he's just going to be in a dogfight every other year with all of these other great quarterbacks. On the flip side, Jalen Hurts can still like improve his game. Like as great as he played this year, he still has so much room to
Yeah,
improve.
right.
And to the point where like if especially if Aaron leaves or even if Aaron doesn't, because Aaron's getting older, Jalen Hurts could easily be like the best quarterback in the NFC next year,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yes. Yes.
like you start looking at the
It's
NFC and it's like, well, hell, as long as Jalen Hurts is healthy, that defense continues to play the way they're playing, and they find like, and they don't give him too much money too soon. Hell, there's no reason the Eagles couldn't just constantly be that team that's always a threat to make it to the Super Bowl. Until there's some young quarterback that comes up that's like all of a sudden starting to like really challenge that like it is in the AFC. So for me, it is. It's Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Like they really need to capitalize on the Super Bowl to do exactly what you said, so that
yeah.
Patrick isn't in this group of guys like Rodgers and Breeze, where it's like, yo, super talented, somehow only got one Super Bowl.
Right. Right. Because I do think that he is such a special playmaker that I do think that he has kind of in my just to me like just emotionally I feel like he's kind of earned it to be like just some of the stuff he can do out
Mm-hmm.
there, his creativity as a quarterback. I think just as a creative and seeing how his mind works, it's like how who else would have seen that, or some of those shovel passes I'm sure they practice and he knows, but
Yeah,
like some other ones are like, okay, like even nobody, the guy catching it didn't even expect it, but they all know be ready to catch it because it could be coming to you.
yeah.
So to me, yeah, they need to do it. They got to do it. I think they can. I hope his ankle holds up. That's a big question mark. Hopefully it's obviously better than it was last game. He's had a little bit more time,
He had like
but
2 weeks arrested,
yep,
so
two
yeah.
weeks rested. But again, if somebody falls on it, you know what I mean? Like just that
But I think that's the beauty
again,
of
that's the game. That's the
that's the
game.
beauty of Patrick Mahomes' game, though, right? Because as much as his ankle was hurt in the last game, still was making throws, still was able to gut it out. And I would argue, because I don't know if anyone has ever anointed Patrick Mahomes as the face of the league, but a Super Bowl win this year would do that for him to me. Like from now on, like this is Patrick Mahomes' league. Because I think for so long it was Tom Brady, it was Aaron Rodgers, it was all these other guys. I don't
Yeah,
know if
that's
we've ever
fair.
truly anointed Patrick Mahomes as the face of the league.
That's fair. Consistently in the playoffs, championship. Yeah, and Brady retired. So that's ship sailed. So yeah, after
You give him a Super Bowl win, like that's the face of your franchise.
yeah,
I think
because
if
he's
Jalen
got
Hurts
two
wins it, yeah, 2 Super Bowls. He hasn't. Does he have an MVP?
Mahomes.
Yeah, I'm surprised if he doesn't. I'd be shocked.
I think he does. Yeah, the same. Like I think he does. But
But I mean, like, yeah, he
his
has. I mean,
MVP was his second season, I
he's
believe.
got right. So he's got the talent. He would have the Super Bowls. He would have at least an MVP. We're talking about. He has the commercials. Like he's got the notoriety to be the face of the league,
Well, the personality, right? I think is what he's got a
and that
personality. He's
too,
not a he's
and that
not a
too.
he's not a doorknob, right?
No, he's not a doorknob, and he's not his brother. His brother's a freaking tool, man. I'm sorry. His brother is a tool. But
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, so we agree that Kansas City's got to have it. I think they can do it. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been activated as well. I think that I don't know if he's going to play, but if he does, that would certainly help.